John, go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good to see you out in the Rose Garden again.
Thank you.
We
Nice
seem to do
place.
this on occasion.
It's a nice place.
I have a question for the Prime Minister in a moment, if I could. But first, sir, you said just a short time ago that Obamacare is virtually dead. Your plans for Graham Cassidy have not been able to get off the ground in the Senate. There's no idea whether or not it will in early 2018. You've been picking around the edges to some degree with the executive orders, some of which critics say are helping to destroy Obamacare. So I'm wondering, at this point, what is your health care plan, sir?
Well, if you look at insurance companies and you take a good, strong look and at the numbers, you'll see since the formation of Obamacare, they're up 400%, 450%, 250%, 300%. They've made a fortune, the insurance companies. So when I knocked out the hundreds of millions of dollars a month being paid back to the insurance companies by politicians, I must tell you, that wanted me to continue to pay this, I said, I'm not going to do it. This is money that goes to the insurance companies to line their pockets, to raise up their stock prices, and they've had a record run. They've had an incredible run, and it's not appropriate. Obamacare is a disaster. It's virtually dead. As far as I'm concerned, it really is dead, and I predicted that a long time ago. It's a concept that doesn't work, and we are very close. We feel we have the votes, and as soon as we're finished with taxes, John, we really feel we have the votes to get block grants into the states where the states can much better manage this money and much better take care of the people rather than the federal government. The state block grants will do massive block grants into the various states so that the states can run the program. So we feel we have the votes. We're going to be doing that after the taxes. In the meantime, we're involved with a budget, and then after the budget, hopefully that gets approved, and after the budget, assuming we have the support of all the Republicans, because we'll have no support from the Democrats, or almost no support, because they've really become just obstructionists. They have no good policies, and frankly, they're not good politicians, but they're very good obstructionists, and that's what they do well, obstruct. The number of nominees that I have approved by the Democrats are about half of what President Obama had. And when you look at that, and you can look at judicial appointments, look how slow that's going. I'll have 145 ultimately, which is a tremendous number. We'll have 17 Court of Appeals appointments, but they're not getting approved. They're being slow-walked by Schumer and the group of Democrats that really, it's really disgraceful. Even people that they know they're going to approve, they take it right out to the end. They use every single minute. And I think it's a very disgraceful situation. But Obamacare is everything but dead. The people aren't going to take it. They're not going to take it. Alaska, they had over a 200% increase. In Arizona, they were 116%, and I hear going up even higher. And the people aren't going to take that any longer. So I think we're in great shape. I think we have the votes. And we'll be doing that right after the largest tax cuts in the history of our country are approved, hopefully sometime in the very near future.
So is Graham Cassidy still the plan, sir?
Yeah, essentially that would be the plan, yes, block grants.
And Mr. Prime Minister, with respect to the president, in March of 2016, you said of the potential for a Donald Trump presidency, quote, "I hope we will not face this evil." And I'm wondering if after spending time with the president, you have changed your mind or if you're of the same mind.
I wish I knew that before my speech.
Διαπίστωσα από την συνάντηση που είχαμε τον Πρόεδρο ότι
the meeting had with the president, his approach and the way he addresses the politics.
Greek. Maybe on this one.
The U.S. is a very strong power, and their ability to intervene for good are very, very important. I want to confirm that the meeting that we had was very productive. Not a moment did I feel that I threatened at any time. I saw that there is a very fertile outlook here in order to set aside any differences we may have to find the common ground which is really important for the relationship between our two peoples that are traditional and historical, and for our common objectives. We need common values. We have common values, excuse me. Don't forget that the value of democracy and freedom was born in Greece. And it's one of the basic values that traverses American culture and American tradition. The president today of the U.S. continues this tradition, and I think our collaboration will be very substantial, and I'm very optimistic after the meeting that we had today.
So I might just add that a number of countries were a little bit nervous at the beginning, and I have very good relationships with the leaders of virtually every country I've dealt with. But the reason they were concerned was because I will not allow our country, the United States of America, to be taken advantage of by so many other countries all over the world. If you look at our trade deficits, massive trade deficits with virtually every country. You look at our jobs moving out to certain countries, and the companies are leaving and they're firing the people, and the product is made elsewhere and then it's sold back into the United States. I'm not going to be allowing that. So I can understand how certain countries and the leaders of certain countries may feel. But we're just not going to allow the United States to be taken advantage of by other countries anymore. And there's nothing we can do about that. Thank you. Okay, you have a question.
Lena Argyri with the Greek Public TV. Mr. Prime Minister, how do you plan to attract long-term foreign direct investments in Greece? And if you can elaborate, please, on the steps that Greece is making to tackle bureaucracy and overtaxation in order to ensure investors around the world that Greece is ready for business. And Mr. President, if I may, why would you encourage the U.S. companies to invest in Greece, and how can the U.S. support the Greek efforts to fully turn the page, attract investments, and manage its debt? Thank you.
Πρώτα απ' όλα,
First of all, one thing is to intervene legislatively to attract investment, and it's different to work on a daily basis to implement these intentions in a stable environment. We opted to conflict with the basic illnesses of Greek public administration and to create a friendly environment for foreign investment, because this is our investment, our priority today. Investment, it means jobs. Jobs means less unemployment, and it means return of young people that have left Greece, educated Greeks that have left Greece to go to other countries, to come back to Greece. So what did we do? We passed a law in Parliament that provides a stable tax environment, a fixed tax rate for 12 years for investments of high value. We simplified the procedures to provide licenses to investments. We introduced the fast track process for strategic investments. And we also made significant change to hit and combat bureaucracy through digitization of procedures, administrative procedures in public administration, and our vision is to have a digital public administration, but that we really want to make it practice. I personally have created a task force in the Prime Minister office for investments, so we can see whether laws are being implemented, whether there is effectiveness, and we are sending out a strong signal of political will to promote these projects. The president asked me earlier what's happening with the Hellenikon, with the old airport, where years ago he himself, as a businessman in the past, was interested in it, and he saw himself the weaknesses and the illnesses of Greek public administration. I informed him it's moving on, it's moving along, and very soon we will see this area being formed to a very, very large real estate project in Greece, which will be, we're hoping that'll be an attraction for other investments from abroad. I'd like to also say that Greece, for the first time, from the last country, is the first country in absorbing European funds investment capital from European structural funds. So we find ourselves at a turning point, a point where investments can provide the ability to exit finally the crisis. And the message I want to pass on to U.S. investors that Greece is not just a tourist attraction, the best baby in the world, but it's also an investment attraction, an investment destination as well.
That we have a great confidence in Greece. I think it's a land of tremendous potential. I know many people are looking to invest in Greece. A lot of the problems are behind it. They've had some very good leadership. They've really they've made a lot of difficult decisions. We are helping, as you know, with a massive renovation of their Air Force and also of airplanes generally going to Greece. They're looking at buying additional planes from Boeing, and we are helping. We're very much involved with Greece and with helping Greece get back on its feet. We have a tremendous Greek population in this country, people whose heritage is Greece, and we love that country, special country, one of the most beautiful countries in the world, and so I think it's got great potential, and we are helping it along. Okay. Jennifer, you want to go?
Thank you, Mr. President.
Sure.
I have a question for both of you, but let me start with you, Mr. President. Let me give you a quick question about the Federal Reserve. Do you have any other candidates that you're looking at other than Powell, Yellen, the five that have already been named? Are you looking at anyone besides those folks?
I would say within those five, you'll probably get the answer, and I'll be making the decision over the next fairly short period of time.
Can you say who your favorite is at this point?
Honestly, I like them all.
Okay.
I do. I have a great respect for all of them, but I'll make a decision over the next very short period of time.
Can I ask you a quick Obamacare question as well, even
Sure.
though John Roberts asked one as well?
Sure.
Apparently, Lamar Alexander has said he's made a deal with Senator Patty Murray to stabilize Obamacare. Has the White House been involved in those negotiations, and will you support that deal?
Yes, we have been involved, and this is a short-term deal because we think ultimately block grants going to the states is going to be the answer. That's a very good solution. We think it's going to not only save money, but give people much better health care with a very, very much smaller premium spike. And you look at what's gone on with that. Also much lower deductible so they can use it. Lamar has been working very, very hard with the Democratic, his colleagues on the other side, and Patty Murray is one of them in particular. And they're coming up, and they're fairly close to a short-term solution. The solution will be for about a year or 2 years, and it'll get us over this intermediate hump because we have, as you probably know, we either have the votes or we're very close to having the votes, and we will get the votes for having really the potential of having great health care in our country. So they are indeed working, but it is a short-term solution so that we don't have this very dangerous little period, including dangerous period for insurance companies, by the way. For a period of 1 year, 2 years, we will have a very good solution, but we're going to have a great solution ultimately for health care. Okay? And they are working together, and I know very much what they're doing. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you. And Mr. Prime Minister, on Turkey, do you still regard Turkey as a democracy, and should Turkey remain a member of NATO?
Πρέπει να σας πω,
I have to say that despite our concerns regarding Turkey, despite the concerns that are also based on the daily Turkish intervention in the Aegean, nevertheless, we continue to support the Turkish course towards Europe. We respect it as a regional power, and we believe that it must stay oriented toward the European perspective, stably oriented to its collaboration with the West, and stably oriented towards NATO. We do believe that the European outlook perspective of Turkey can also be a lever of pressure so that we can have those reforms toward the democratization of the domestic of the country. So my answer to your question is relatively easy. Yes, we do believe that Turkey must remain within NATO and in its European course. But on the other side, we have to ensure, and we must make it clear to this ally of ours and to its government, that the road to Europe and the stay and the collaboration with the West carries with it certain conditions and certain responsibilities. And one of the most necessary conditions is to respect international law, to collaborate, and not promote tension with ally countries such as Greece. This is our basic direction. And I do believe I had the opportunity to go in detail on this matter with President Trump, to explaining the need for the fulfillment of these conditions, so that there are clear messages also toward the Turkish administration.
Thank you. Mr. Prime Minister, how do you, as Greeks, like to hear about the geostrategic importance of Greece in the region? What is your government planning to do to enhance this role and for the benefit of the bilateral relationship? And for specifically in Suda Bay, are there any plans you have for it? And Mr. President, you praised Greece's role in NATO with the contribution and in Suda Bay. Amid the volatile region of the Eastern Mediterranean, what do you see as the potential of Greece being as a pillar of stability in the region? And what would the US like to see happening in order for Greece to achieve this potential? Thank you.
Well, I'll just start by saying that I think it has a great role in stability in the area. We have a feeling that it will get stronger and stronger. Very stable people. It's got the potential to once it gets over this tremendous financial hurdle that it's in the process of working out. We think that there'll be great stability in Greece, and militarily and in every way we look at it as very important and very important to the United States. We have great confidence in Greece as a nation. We have great confidence in what they're doing relative to their military, because I know they have plans to do some terrific things. And we know they will be an ally for many, many years to come. You know, they've always been a very reliable ally, and we've always been very reliable to them. So we look forward to that for many years. We're going to be friends for many, many years, and stability is very important. And we look upon that with respect to Greece as being a key. Okay, thank you.
Αναφορικά
As regards the initiatives that we're going to be taking, but also regarding the initiatives that we have taken to broaden the strategic role of Greece as a reliable partner, both in the EU and NATO, I'd like to say that from the first moment we took over the administration, we proceeded to a new dogma through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but as a basic aim to enhance the role of Greece as a country that is a pillar of security and stability in a very sensitive and unstable region. We enhanced our collaboration with two significant partners in the area, Egypt and Israel, and Greece, Cyprus with Israel, and Greece, Cyprus, and with Egypt, and with other countries in the area, such as Jordan, Lebanon. Our goal is that through these multilateral collaborations to ensure the collaboration, stability, peace, and joint development, joint growth in this area. Of course, Greece, for a number of years, has been playing, as underlined earlier, it plays the role of a reliable ally of the U.S., but it also has a unique, different feature. Greece may be talking with the Arab world, with other countries in the East. So it's not just a NATO member. It's a useful ally for the United States of America. Now, as regards Crete and Sudabe, we all know it is a special geostrategic importance, and we jointly evaluated it, and I think that we're doing good work there, and it can and it must be upgraded, enhanced.
Here, and he said, "This is so beautiful." I said, "This is the Rose Garden," and I think even the media likes the Rose Garden. That's hard to believe, but even the media likes it. Mr. Prime Minister, it's been a great honor having you, and we look forward to many, many years of friendship, working together, and keep up the good work. Thank you very much.
Very much.